Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let the rousing begin. Nate Orchard, Advanced Window Products, Utah product, NFL product. He's human.
Oh,
JJ.
really?
Just went in the woods off of the first tee at Bonneville.
No, I don't believe you.
Listen, but Jake Weber, his counterpart, of course, at Advanced Windows, crushed it and put it right down the dadgum middle. They're going to be okay.
Jake?
Yeah, the rest of their team.
Don't overlook Jake. Jake was an outstanding high school.
No, I know, and the rest of their team is dead straight down the middle so far. So Nate didn't even have to do much work. They probably got him on board for the putting. You know what I mean? So that's what they got.
I'm sure Nate's short game is sharp.
That's what they brought him in for. You might be wondering, what on earth are you guys talking about? We are at the third annual Bonneville Classic, and the Bonneville Classic, of course, is played at Bonneville Golf Course up here in East Salt Lake, and we're having an awesome time. The last 2 years, JJ, the weather was awful year one. It was not that much better last year, but today we're in the shade in 82 degrees as the wind is just kind of breezing through here. It is a perfect day looking up Immigration Canyon, and it is an awesome day to be watching everybody else golf and us having to watch them golf. So
this is therapeutic. This is a reminder to me why we live here. Utah summers are undefeated.
Oh, for sure.
The beauty right here in this spot is unmatched. I love living here, and days like today give me so much energy. It's just so beautiful. We're so lucky to live here.
Well, I'm excited because we've got a radio show to do, and it's gonna fly by because
I want to just golf. Can I just go golf?
I know. Well, here's the thing.
I didn't come dressed for it, but
but
that's what I want to do.
But you know how it is too. Like, it's this water everywhere, but not a drop to drink for you and I. It's like everybody's golfing around us. All of our clients, I'm glad they get to have fun though. Like this is really cool, and then we get to intersect with some of our favorite people. So it's been a fun one so far. We've been shaking hands and we did a little bit of a mini driving contest at the. I thought we got it forced on us a little bit too much.
I was not prepared. Thanks, Casey Scott.
Casey Scott from TV throws us on a Facebook Live, and so we had to go out there and hit it. And of course, he kills it down the middle. And is like, oh, whoops! Looks like I do this 3 or 4 times a week. He's a golfer, so there you go.
The one day I wear sandals.
I thought it was nice you didn't wear socks, though. That was a good.
I'm not doing that.
You didn't want to go the full dad move?
I'm not going full. You
dad
don't
move?
go full Provo. You don't go full Provo. I'm not doing that.
How dare you? How dare you?
I know all the kids wear my boys wear socks and
sandals. It's a thing now.
And I can't stand it. Like, what are you guys doing? What's the point?
No, and then they're like, you have no Riz, Dad, because you're not wearing sandals, socks, and sandals.
I'm very sus.
Isn't that weird how we got to that point? That
I know.
Somebody's that you having socks with your sandals is like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like my kid shows up, and he's all of 120 pounds, and he goes thrifting and buys pants routinely that fit me. Like those 40-inch waists. He'll get a 38 to a 44-inch waist, and he'll cinch them up just so we can baggy him around. And I'm like, dude, I guess this is what we did when I was a kid, is that you just have kind of a weird style. You got to get into it, and there we are. So,
our kids dress like the kids we made fun of in high school.
I know.
I'm kidding. I didn't make fun of kids in high school.
Oh, okay. Jean Co., though, it's back. Jean
really?
Back. Yeah, the big baggy jeans are stupid, and they're back.
Whatever.
There you go. My goodness. At least yesterday was a fun game of the NBA Final. When I say fun, it was at least more competitive than Game 1. But it was painfully obvious that the Dallas Mavericks do not have a Derek White or a Drew Holiday on their team. And when those two guys are exceptional and they're not even close to the two superstars on their team, then Dallas just can't compete, even with a phenomenal day from Luka yesterday. Being able to reel in a Game 2 was not in the cards for the Mavs in Boston. So that's where we're going to start things off. Our program, as always, is brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients, so no preservatives. Make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, and nutritious boost. I haven't seen the G2G guys out here yet. Last year we saw them. We'll see if Ben Calhoun or Ben Cahoon rolls through. Maybe
We're going to see everybody come through this hole.
We're at hole number 1. So we're watching people come through at the time. It was a shotgun start, and it was an afternoon start, so perfect timing. We're going to get things kicked off, though, as always. We'll start everything off with the cut, and that's where we're going to jump in.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It wasn't just all on me, but I'm definitely taking the majority of it just because, my teammates look to me to convert a lot of these shots and ease the burden, not only just Luka, but everyone else, and settle our team.
At the end of the day, we got to make some more shots. I think my turnovers and my missed free throws cost us a game, so I got to do way better in those two categories. But at the end of the day, we got to make shots to win the game.
Nice of your two superstars to take the blame, right? Do the leadership thing, JJ. But it's bad when both of your best players have to. And Dallas does not have anywhere near the horses. It's obvious after Kyrie and Luka. Then you start to remember, this is not a roster that can compete right now with this Boston Celtics team.
You're absolutely right. I think that's my greatest observation after 2 games is I don't think we really appreciated just how much talent the Celtics have. So if you do a little exercise here, Alex, and you start with the 2 best players on each team. So both teams have 2 superstars, right? You got Jaylen Brown, and you've got Jason Tatum for the Celtics. You've got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Those are 4 of some of the best players in the league. You could probably argue they're top 15, all 4 of them.
Sure.
You rank those 4 guys however you want, 1 through 4. I don't care. Those guys are elite. So they match up there. Both teams have superstar power. Where it really drops off is guys 3, 4, 5.
Yes. Yeah.
Massive drop off because the next 3 or 4 guys, the best players in this series, are on the Celtics. Drew Holiday, obviously, last night, sensational. What a game he had. And then Derek White.
Derek White sealed the whole
incredibly
end
underrated.
Of the game there. Yes.
Absolutely played well. Hit a big 3 late. Got that big block at the end. And then after that, I'm going to go Porzingis. You could even flip that and put Porzingis ahead of those 2 when he's healthy. And then after that, you can go Al Horford, right? Is there a player on the Mavs right now outside of the big 2 that are playing as well as Al Horford has the first 2 games? So
it's funny because Al Horford,
maybe a PJ Washington, but he was 1 of 5 from 3 last night. Derek Jones Jr. 0 of 3.
No,
you could tell late when Luka is committing turnovers. It's not like the rest of the team is going to suddenly show up. You know what I mean? Like your superstar, who, by the way, if you were to rank them 1 through 4, Luka would be number 1. I think
I would go with Luka.
So Luka would be 1. It'd probably be Tatum 2.
Yep.
It'd probably be Kyrie right there playing at his best. Like the playoff Kyrie we saw prior to this is probably 3.
The gap between all 4 of those is not great, but
right.
I would agree with that.
And Jaylen Brown at 4. And guess what? Luka had a phenomenal day, but it was kind of erased by, as he put it, it was turnovers and missed free throws. Like I don't know what he was percentage-wise on the game, but uncharacteristic. Multiple
Doncic
misses.
was great. 12 of 21, 4 of 9 from 3. You're going to live with that. 4 of 8 from the free throw line.
Not good.
Not great, but 4 points was not the difference in the
game.
I think what really hurt them was his 8 turnovers.
8 turnovers. And I think 3 of them were in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And 2 of those were in the last 2 minutes. And so you have a leadership aspect. You have the thing where you go, all right, what are you going to do in the most critical moments of not just the season, not just the playoffs, not just the finals, but your career? When are you going to get back? You know what I mean? Especially a Dallas team. When are you going to get back? I mean, the possibility is you could maybe never get back, right?
It's 100% possible.
And so this is why we laud these guys who show up in these critical moments in any sport, right? At the moment that they show up, because a triple-double last night from Luka wasn't just not enough. It wasn't even close to enough. I mean, at the end of the game, everybody else is kind of falling off, but Luka was too. Like Luka was loose and tired, and he was struggling. And by the way, Kristaps Porzingis, when it must have been in the fourth. Yeah, it was late in the fourth quarter when he went down after I think he was trying to meet somebody at the rim, and he goes down weird, and then he's limping around the rest of the game, and then Al Horford comes in, to kind of finish things off. All I could think was, oh man, maybe that turns the corner for the Mavericks to kind of get back in, not just this thing, but maybe the series. But then you forget Al Horford comes in, and Al Horford is phenomenal. especially at the age that he's at.
Yeah.
Nobody gives him enough credit. They just go, he's an old guy. He's good leadership. It's like the guy is really efficient. And by the way, they don't have him. Like, you have to put Maxi Kleber in because you don't have any other answers on defense under the hoop. Maxi Kleber's not who you want in the game for Dallas, right? Like, that's it. But guess what? He has this role, which is he's got to show up and he's got to be a big man under the hoop because they don't have size, and he's the only one that can really make an effort like that. And he's not even the guy that you want to have in the game. So the rosters are starting to become painfully, obviously, there's a disparity there. And I just hope that Dallas can get one or two of these back, maybe hopefully both of them back in Dallas to make a series out of this thing. If not, you're going to see this one go to 5 games. And that's unfortunate because, the Mavericks were playing such good basketball, and it's like the moment has felt too big for him so far.
Yeah, I just think you mentioned it. You hit it right on the head. Derek Lively, he looks like a rookie all of a sudden.
Yes.
Where did he go? He was one of the reasons why they made it to this point. They got to get more out of him. So that's certainly part of it. Is just the talent disparity is pretty obvious to me. The other thing is what do the Mavericks do well? They shoot the three-pointer really well. They have not in the first 2 games. They can go home, and if they have one of those games where they shoot 45, 50% from 3, all of a sudden they're right back in the series.
Sure.
Another problem, and Bob Myers was pointing it out really well, the former Warriors GM that was on the broadcast last night. Why are the Mavericks playing right into the Celtics' strength? You have got to get in transition. You have got to speed up the pace against the Celtics team. The Celtics clearly have a size advantage at different positions. I mean, outside of Luka playing against Derek White or something like that, but Luka's being guarded by Jason Tatum.
Sure.
And a lot of people were capping on Jason Tatum last night because he didn't have a monstrous output of points, but he had 12 assists. He was playing defense on Luka. He was doing everything he could. I didn't think he had a bad game.
No, he had a little bit of a suspect last 5 minutes, but it didn't matter because Derek White was there, Drew Holiday was there,
right.
All these other guys show up. And by the way, Jason Tatum requires so much of a mental strain as to what you're going to do when he is driving into the hoop that this Mavericks team is not equipped to. I mean, they were so far behind. They were so far behind because you have to respect Jason Tatum and his ability to go to the basket, and they were doing it so much so that it left those 2 3-pointers in the last 4 minutes by Derek White were phenomenal, and they were the game. They put the nail in the coffin.
They kept the Mavericks from getting attached.
Right.
They kept them from getting a rally going to be able to catch up.
That block, and on the fast break that would have made it a 3-point game, and then the turnaround to make the 3, I think 2 possessions later, that made it 105. Those were killer, and that was your 4th or 5th best guy on your team, or 3rd or 4th best guy on your team.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. That's how guys win championships, right? I mean, look at the Bulls. We always went Michael. We always went MJ, Scotty. But there was always a John Paxson. There was always a Steve Kerr. There was always
Tony Kukoc,
yep. Somebody that they dish underneath to, or you could kick out to, and they were lights freaking out. And the reason they were so lights out is because you had to give so much attention to those other guys, especially the best player on the planet. So I don't know how this is going to go the rest of the way. I don't know what this looks like for the Mavericks overall. Or because now Luka, I don't know what it is, what game they play with his injury report stuff.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Where's
going on.
Kyrie? Kyrie's got to step up, and he knows
invisible.
it.
Yes.
And I like that he owned it post game, both games. He knows he's got to be more productive. 7 of 18 is decent, but 0 of 3 from 3. Those are shots he usually makes. He's got to be more productive than 16. Because here's the difference, and to point out the talent difference again. Kyrie Irving scores just 16 points, despite Luka getting a triple-double, 32, 11, 11. Mavericks lose by 7. Jason Tatum has an off night, 6 of 22, 18 points. Somebody else on that team steps up big. Drew Holiday, 26 and 11. So where's that other guy to step up when your star isn't on? When one of your 2 guys we talked about, when a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum isn't hitting on all cylinders, you've got other guys like Drew Holiday, Derek White, stepping up. But for the Mavericks, who was it? Who was going to be that guy? I mean, P.J. Washington tried to, but again, 1 of 5 from 3. Derek Jones Jr. isn't the answer. Jalen Green, no. Nobody was able to match that kind of production, and that was the difference in a 7-point game.
Sure. I get bummed because we were so excited about this series, but it was only going to be worth it if the Mavericks that we had seen for those prior 2 series had shown up.
Right.
And so I think we all sort of knew that the first series, like, hey, the Clippers are not the favorite in this one, and the Mavericks took it to them. But the Mavericks stuck it to everybody else the rest of the way, too. So you assumed that there was – because in terms of scary teams you're taking on right now, I don't know. I just don't see Luka as seeing the stage is too big. Certainly Kyrie has already been on –
oh, of course.
On a big stage and has already won a championship, and he's already been in that city playing really, really good basketball. So going to Boston and crapping the bed like he had the last 2 games has been – maybe that sounds a little aggressive, but I think he would even say if you were to tell me that the most disappointing stat lines from games, not just 1 but game 2 as well, was going to be Kyrie Irving, I would have said, maybe one of those games he struggles or whatever. But I thought they were going to split in Boston, mostly because, too, we saw Boston lose game 2 at home twice already in the playoffs. In huge fashion, too, by a lot of points. So that's the part that I was like, okay, what are we going to see? What are we going to see tonight? And instead, the Mavericks have just been bleh. They've been really boring to watch.
Yeah.
They're barely delivering. They're barely scoring points, too. Like, this is a team that scores 120 a game, and they haven't even gotten to 100 the last 2 games.
Do we need to give the Celtics more credit for that?
Absolutely.
Or is this just the Mavericks running out of gas?
No. Think about the biggest difference makers, like we've said so far for the Celtics. Jason Tatum is what in the first 2 games? How many points did he have last night? How many points did he have? The first game, I think he had like the most quiet 32 points or whatever it was ever. And people were kind of like,
if I ask you, who's the MVP of this series so far? Who's your answer?
Oh,
it's not Tatum, is it?
No, it's not Tatum. It's not Jaylen Brown either, which is funny. But it probably should be Jason Tatum because he probably has the most points for that Celtics team.
Or impact. His 12 assists last night were huge.
It's not nothing. Yeah. But because of what Derek White and Drew Holiday did just in the fourth quarter, that's where my brain goes because that was what I saw last.
Yeah.
Was the Mavericks getting close, and then the Celtics just shutting it down again. And I want to say it was that turnover at half court that Luka had.
Yeah.
Like with a minute and a half left, I was like, what are we doing? And that's a guy who's tired.
The Derek Brown save,
right.
Drew Holiday hits the 3.
Yes.
The energy that Celtics team had late was the difference. Every time the Mavericks tried to get back in it, they had an answer. Here's another discouraging stat. If you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, which I'm sure none of you listening are, but since you're watching the finals, you're invested in this. The Celtics have not lost on the road in the playoffs this year.
That's crazy.
They're perfect 9-0.
Yeah, their losses have come. in the
home games.
In the home
just
games.
Twice.
Yes.
Have we underestimated how great the Celtics team is? I mean, they were a 64-win team. The Mavericks won 50 games in the regular season. When we talk about the regular season meaning something, I think we need to pay more attention to the regular season because the regular season told us the truth here. The regular season told us the truth. There might be a 14-game gap between these two teams, and maybe you give 3 or 4 games of a mulligan. We're here at the golf course, so mulligan comes to mind. I should say a handicap.
Oh, hey, there you go.
A handicap for the Mavericks because they play in the West and the Celtics play in the East. But 14 games is a big gap.
Huge. Yeah.
14 wins is a big gap, and I think we're seeing that gap right now. So I don't know that going home solves all the problems for the Mavericks. They've got a lot of things to iron out. I think the question we always love to ask, Alex, is what is what we're witnessing? Because we all want to bring it back here. Because you listening, you care about the Utah Jazz, 90% of you. What are we learning in this finals that needs to apply to the Utah Jazz moving forward, how they can build a championship roster? I think we've hit on it. You've got to have depth. It's not good enough to just have a star or two because the Mavericks have that. And sure, that's the next step for the Jazz to get to where they want to go. But what's the difference between the Mavericks and the Celtics right now? The Celtics went out and made some really, really tough decisions about personnel. They made some trades in the offseason. A team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year wasn't good enough. They went out and still made some moves. What did they do? They added Kristaps Porzingis, which many saw could be a risk because of his injury history, and we're still seeing that play out. But they also made it happen to go out and get Drew Holiday. And is Drew Holiday one of the most underappreciated superstars in the NBA? He's won a gold medal. He's won an NBA championship. He's had an unbelievable career. Does he not get enough love and respect for what he is as a professional basketball player?
Every team he's been on, think about the last two clubs he's been on, right? You talk about him third or fourth.
Yeah.
That's typically where he's been. Has, obviously you get wrapped up in the Giannis and even Chris Middleton conversation in Milwaukee before, and then Dame, of course, because when did they get him? When did they get him this year?
The Celtics? It was right before the season started.
So,
they made that big trade. Remember, the Jazz were
they were in that
very, very interested.
Yes.
And the Jazz have been interested in Drew Holiday for, it seems like, a decade. They've never landed him.
I've told you this before. I've always wanted a son named Drew with a J. I've told you this, okay? This is one of my great life goals. But Drew Holiday is one of those guys that
You've had 7. How many sons do you? I shouldn't say 7. I guess you could go. Hey, Drew would work for a girl. You have had 7 shots at Drew. If we would have had a 5th son, I would have said Drew. No, you're right. We have kind of the androgynous name situation. We'll do the trade across names kind of situation. That's very 2024. Very.
You get we actually have a girl named Drew down the street from us. There's like 2 girls named Drew.
Yeah, that's
in our neighborhood.
Not uncommon.
It's cute. All right,
listen. You could do the JRU.
It's really bad that we get to see everybody's tee shot. We're watching everyone take their tee shot off of number 1 here, and
they think no one's looking,
right? And I'm either like, oh man, I wish I played golf like that. I know.
And I don't like you.
In every group, and this is the way these tournaments work. There's always a ringer or 2, right? And that guy crushes it down the middle, or that gal crushes it down the middle. And that's the reason they were invited today, right? Then there are the guys who, good for them, they've been in more meetings this year. I don't know what it is. They're missing the –
They're working really hard in the office. Not hard enough out on the course.
You see what's going on, you're like, oh, boy, ooh. And then they drive past us, and then I look at them, and I'm like, boy, you screwed that up, didn't you? You blew that for your team, didn't you? All right, we'll take our first break of the day. This portion of the show brought to you by Trajan Wealth. TRAJANwealth.com is the website. You go there, you can find out more about how to plan out your retirement in style. Guess what? Coming back, we will have our You Into Golf giveaway. The U.S. Open firing up this week. Tony, by the way, having a nice day, a nice top 10 finish for Tony Finau at the Memorial yesterday. Hey, who won that tournament? I didn't see who ended up winning the Memorial.
Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah,
again?
I saw it. $4 million, by the way.
That's 5 wins this season.
Yeah. It's a bigger payout.
Right before the U.S. Open.
It's a bigger payout for the Memorial than it was for the Masters.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
I did not know that.
$4 million for the winner, 2.8 for the second place. So, yeah. Not that I look at the that's like one of my favorite things. I go on there, and you can Google the entire prize bag, and it's just hilarious to see now how much money's in there. Because I think there were 5 guys tied for 8th, including Tony Finau. They all got $580,000. No problem.
Yeah,
Not a bad day at the office.
And Tony had a good week, tied for 8th.
He did. He had a good week, and we'll see if that can convert over to some good golf as well when it comes down to it at the U.S. Open. Another major, which means another major You Into Golf giveaway. And we're going to be this week is the I think this week is the driver. I'm pretty sure this week is the driver. I know in our notes here it says putter, but I think we did the putter last. Does that sound right? I think that what I heard Jake Scott talking about earlier today was a driver. So we'll see. We'll get confirmation, and then we'll come back. We've got more to go. The Lakers, I mean, it's just a shame to not see them win for once when it comes to trying to find their coach. But we'll talk about that next and why Dan Hurley is my hero. Stay with us, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Dan Hurley just informed his players, his administration, that he's turned down the Lakers job. He's going to remain at UConn, chase a 3rd straight national championship. The NBA's always been an ambition of Dan Hurley's, and the chance to talk to the Lakers, to be offered the Lakers job, and really sit with them on a vision of what it looked like. This was not an easy decision for him. You know, he viewed this, I'm told, as really a once-in-a-lifetime offer.
Well, duh, Woj. You get offered by the Lakers to coach their team, they're not coming back again once they get spurned. Once you shut down the Lakers to make 8 figures more than you're making a year, now I know that UConn's going to reward the guy, okay? But Dan Hurley's my official hero of the day. Just because the Lakers had to waste the resources, they had to waste their time for a guy to go, loved your pitch. Loved your pitch, Genie Bus. Oh, boy, he's hitting right in it. Hey, you got a golf etiquette situation going on here. Did you just hit into us? Oh, boy.
Someone's going to get killed here.
Oh, they're going to start fighting, aren't they? Oh, boy. Wow. And it's 2 automotive groups. Do you get them together?
Oh, it's a
no,
rivalry.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. You can't hit into
You
those
got to
guys.
separate the auto groups by at least 2 different groups, right?
You know what that is, though, too? So somebody just drove the ball. We're at the Bonneville Golf Course for the Bonneville Classic, 3rd annual, and we're at a scramble here. And I guarantee what happened was these guys got up there, and they were like, there's no freaking way that I'm going to drive into these guys. And, of course, they drive into those guys. So there you go. But nobody's hurt. Nobody's hurt. Just a couple of middle fingers from the fairway. That's fine. That's part of golf, JJ. Welcome back. We are at the Bonneville Classic, Bonneville Golf Course here for the 3rd annual Bonneville Classic. And it's so much fun. These are fun things. These are fun times. I jest a little bit, but that was definitely one of the better hit balls we've seen all day.
It was nice.
And it was definitely right into that group ahead of him. Yeah. So, love to get that explanation. I guarantee
no one got hurt.
No?
Nobody got in a fight. We're good. We're good. Moving on.
All right. Let's. Should we give some stuff away at this point? Might as well, right? It is our Uinta Golf giveaway. It's our Uinta Golf major giveaway. This major, of course, coming up this weekend is the U.S. Open. And for many people, this is the second great major on the calendar. You've got the Masters. It's kind of a Sophie's choice between the British Open and the U.S. Open. PGA Championship usually comes last on that list. Am I wrong? Am I setting it up the way
it's the fourth of the 4 majors.
Listen, it's a major, all right?
But it is significant.
Is tennis like this? I mean, Wimbledon, is that number 1? It's got to be, right?
Wimbledon number 1, Paris 2,
French is 2.
U.S. Open 3, and Australia
You think
4.
the Aussie is 4, huh?
I do.
The Aussie's kind of the waste management open of
U.S. Open, like
I know.
it has its thing.
Yeah, and then Roland Garros, of course, has its own.
The clay courts. There's
Got
something
it.
special about
Got
that,
it.
right?
So I love that we go, yeah, your major is okay. But this is one of the good ones, right? So the U.S. Open, and that, of course, means that the Uinta Golf giveaway, we are going to qualify a golfer every hour during the week all the way up till, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah, all the way up through Wednesday before the tournament starts. And when the tournament fires up, then we're going to if your golfer wins, of those qualified golfers, you are going to get the brand of driver that winner of the championship uses, which, by the way, I was saying pretty good odds that you're going to get that stealth driver from Scotty Scheffler, because he's a Titleist man, and he wins a lot of tournaments, and so he'd be your odds-on favorite.
Unless he gets arrested again, I don't see how he loses this
And
weekend.
even then, I feel like he would still have a shot, considering that now he's got that.
He still finished top 5.
I know,
at the PGA
and he's got that one
Championship.
arrest under his belt.
Yeah,
they say
he's
that
good.
was a hard one.
Shouldn't be any more arrests for Scotty Scheffler at the U.S. Open.
All right, so let's give the phone number out. Let's get you qualified. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-9663. 801-575-ZONE. We'll get you qualified for to win the driver that the champion uses. If you get assigned that. Hey, Jeremy, is Scheffler off the board, by the way? Did DJ and PK already steal him?
He is available.
Oh, hey.
Right.
Better
So,
call.
If you find Jeremy in a good mood, you might end up with a Scotty Scheffler at the top of the list. 801-575-ZONE. It's all part of our Uinta Golf giveaway. If your golfer wins, you win that driver. All right. Like I said, Dan Hurley not going to the Lakers.
The Lakers suck yesterday, they suck again today.
Yeah, it's a joyous day. Do they do this in other markets, by the way? I mean, big markets, of course. Like if you're in New York, if you're in L.A., you're going to talk about the Lakers, it seems like, anyway, because that's, a big national story. But do people revel in the Lakers, follies enough.
I think the Lakers
we have a Lakers
are
fan,
probably
by the way,
most
in the room here, so just be careful what you say here.
team in the NBA by other fans in other markets.
Okay.
Right?
That has to be, right?
The arrogance, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And then there's some jealousy involved in that. No team in NBA history has won more championships than the Lakers.
How many championships do the Lakers have?
I don't even.
How many is it?
I'd have to Google it. There's so
well,
many.
because the Celtics have 17, they're going on 18, right?
Yeah, 23 finals appearances.
But no one hates the Celtics like people hate the Lakers, right?
Some do.
I know, but I mean, like it's like the Yankees and the Red Sox, I guess. But the Red Sox barely. I mean, in the last century and a half, they've only won 2 World Series, right? So
it's 17. The Lakers and Celtics are tied, and the Celtics are about to overtake them.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't see that. We don't talk about the misfortunes of the Celtics like we do the Lakers. That might be a function of.
I think it's a West Coast bias.
It has to be that. It also has to be just the multiple times that the Jazz faced the Lakers during the year, right? And that's part of it. So, were you shocked to see Dan Hurley turn it down? Because I wasn't that shocked. I felt like it really was going to be close. You and I talked about whether or not Dan Hurley would even fit in the NBA, and I don't know if he would have.
Not shocked at all. Okay, Dan Hurley's brilliant. So he took full advantage of this. So, number one, let me point out first before I get into my point.
Like he got a sandwich out of it? Like he got a nice meal?
Who would have thought that Dan Hurley would become the most famous of the Hurleys? Bobby, you've been passed by your bro.
By a long shot, by the way.
By a long shot. So that's impressive that Dan Hurley has overtaken his Duke brother for the most famous Hurley. That's impressive. But 2 things here. Number one, he was never leaving UConn. Now, what he's going to get out of this is a 6-year, $50 million extension from UConn where he'll be able to coach there as long as he wants.
Not only that.
And he's got all this talent. He can win multiple national champions. He's going to be the next Coach K.
All right.
Like, he's going to be worshipped as a college basketball coaching legend. He's going to coach there as long as he wants. Why go to the Lakers? Now, here's one reason why. A 6-year, $70 million offer. But you're going to go to the Lakers. There's probably a 50-50 chance you absolutely fail. The second LeBron gets tired of you, you're gone. And you get fired, then what? Then what, are you going to crawl back to some other school? Your legacy's tarnished. Everyone thinks you're a failure as a coach because you couldn't coach in the NBA. A number of guys have made this mistake, thinking that they can go from college to the NBA. One guy that didn't do it was Coach K. And guess what? He never failed at the NBA level, so he never had to worry about that.
But you know what he was
and
also?
Now he's thought of as a legend.
Right, and think about it, too, because we still have that respect for him to be able to coach in the NBA because he coached those Olympics teams.
Yep. And
that
worked because Kobe was his guy.
And on top of it, he was the grandfather of, even though in the room was, Steve Kerr and Pop was on the sidelines for a lot of these. But Coach K was the guy in that room, but he had to earn that. And you know what he did? I mean, I can't – it's not just the wins. It was everything else around Coach K, right? The myth of and the legend of kind of who he is. And I'm just glad – I hope a guy like Dan Hurley has that connection the way that and that success the way that Coach K did. Because Dan Hurley – he would be absolutely not even forgotten. He would be laughed at if he didn't have a mountain of success at L.A. It would just be another time that they threw way too much money at somebody that they had no idea how it was going to turn out. I always wonder how a team like UConn can put together $9 million, though, of a package. $9 million a year.
Welcome to 2024.
Right? This is a basketball school. I mean, obviously, UConn is one of the blue blood, basketball schools.
Men and women, yep.
But $9 million a year is a crazy amount of money. It's an insane amount of money for a football coach, and yet you think about how big UConn is as a school. It's not very big, but the disparity of the football program and the basketball program might be the only thing that might eclipse that is the heyday of Duke when it was at its height and at its low in football.
Yeah,
so,
or Kansas.
Or Kansas, same kind of thing where it's like no one cares. Kentucky's been that way too.
Yeah.
But all of those have had some relative success at some point in football at a moment. I just am Dan Hurley to say no to the Lakers. It takes a lot of foresight. It takes a lot of mentors going, hey, man, don't do it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes people going, I'm telling you, You're going to look. Just them asking you and begging you for the job should be good enough. You're going to get all the money you want, plus that. At
You don't
UConn.
think he didn't make a call to Coach K about this?
You don't. You need. Yes. Ask the best of the best. What do you think I should do? Hey, listen. You're going into a viper's pit here. You're going into a lose-lose situation, and I know that the money looks like a huge win, but it doesn't when no one cares who you are anymore. And you got $30 million guaranteed or whatever it was going to be with the Laker gig. No one cares if you failed. And by the way that LA is set up right now, you're not going to have success right now.
You're not winning a championship.
No,
in LA
where are they
going to
get? Are they going to suddenly just like poof out of nowhere? Their draft situation gets better? No. Their cap situation gets better? Absolutely not. So
we just got done talking about the Celtics step. How do they compete with that right now?
They can't. And if the Celtics stunk, and they were throwing all this money at the situation, like they'd be in a weird spot too. But the Lakers are this team that everybody expects to be in the Western Conference Finals just because you're the Lakers and because of the payroll you have and because of the superstar name you have at the top of your list. And I'm tickled that they did not get Dan Hurley, because that means Dan Hurley really thought about it. Instead of the other coaches who are just like, hey, you could be a coach at the Lakers. Oh, great. What do I get? A lifetime of people making fun of you because you lasted a season and a half.
Yes. It'll tarnish your legacy, no doubt.
It's bad.
I also I have to thank our research staff at JJ and Alex.
Okay.
Actually dug deep and found out the real reason why Dan Hurley turned down the Lakers. It has nothing
I
to
did
do
a little
with
Googling.
Sam was
okay,
a part
it was
of this?
Sam Farnsworth. So 6 years, $50 million, that's a great incentive, but there's actually a greater incentive than that kept Dan Hurley in Storrs, Connecticut. So there is a place called J. Timothy's Tavern in Plainville, Connecticut. They offered Dan Hurley wings for life.
No.
That's why he's staying at UConn.
Lakers don't have that kind of swing.
No, there's no dirt wings.
You couldn't
in
have
LA.
You couldn't have gotten Roscoe. You couldn't have gotten Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles for life from the Lakers.
Nah,
can't get it.
No.
So,
but you can get dirt. You can get dirt wings from J. Timothy's Tavern.
The thing is what's the over/under on how many times he's going to go in there? 3.5.
I would do breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
They're all
for life.
They're all JJ. You know we don't open until 4 p.m., dude.
But I'm craving chicken. I'm craving Parmesan and garlic.
You got that picnic napkin tucked into your thing. You got your fork and knife. You're all. Put the wings on a breakfast taco and hand them out the door. You know we made this deal.
I need those salt and vinegar wings right now. I can't wait. Sir, it's 6 a.m.
Dude.
Throw some eggs on them. I'm hungry.
Salt and vinegar wings. Wow.
Oh, they're so good.
I could go for it right now.
Doesn't sound good.
I'll tell you. All right, here's what we're going to do. We'll take a break. Before we do, every Thursday, JJ and I award our weekly Hercules Hero of the Week. And you can nominate a Hercules Hero of the Week for yourself. The Hercules Hero of the Week is a youth sports volunteer in your community who exemplifies being a youth sports volunteer. Just going above and beyond. They need that recognition that no one ever really gives them. You could be that person that nominates the Hercules Hero of the Week in your neighborhood by saying, hey, we want to recognize them. We want to help them out. You can go to KSLSports.com/contest, KSLSports.com/contest. Listen, every Thursday, JJ and I will roll out a winner for you and help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact. We're the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules Credit Union and Beehive Meals. We will come back. The sun's starting to beat down on my back here, JJ. We got to move this.
The sun moved. I'm a little toasty.
We got a first world problem, by the way. To be like, oh, we're out here in this golf course and the sun started to come into our tent.
Beautiful Wasatch Mountains, but I'm a little
Boo-hoo.
uncomfortable.
Boo-hoo. All right, we'll come back. Yeah, Jeremy's back in the studio. He's all mad. Whatever, it's 70 degrees there, too, all right? Deal with it. Just because you don't have a window that looks to the outside. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. Our Would You Rather. Or no, it's our Weekend Warriors coming up next. People who won the weekend for us. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. Love it. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Lloyd, I don't think there's worry about that. just from the practice swings. We're out here judging the hell out of everybody's golf swing.
That's okay. I'm sitting here rocking out to the guitar solo.
Oh, yeah.
On Freebird.
Oh, yeah. No, 103.5 The Arrow pumping around.
That's right. Our
right
good friends.
us. Yeah.
Across the hall.
We're out here at the Bonneville Classic. Bonneville, the Bonneville Golf Course, Bonneville Golf Club up here in East Salt Lake. We're like a stone's throw from Kyle Whittingham's house, by the way. I say a stone's throw. Probably 3 good drives away.
One Cam Rising deep ball away?
Yeah.
Maybe not that far.
There you go. Oh, I did see something, by the way. Maybe I'll bring it up next hour because we're running out of time on this hour with our weekend warriors, people who won the weekend here for us. Brought to you by Gillette Heating and Air. Right now, seasonal maintenance done on your furnace or air conditioning, only $59. Give the folks at Gillette HVAC a call. GilletteHVAC.com to make an appointment. Gillette Heating and Air Conditioning. All right. So they had the London series in baseball. Did you see the video of Bryce Harper chugging some water in the dugout? But it was like, one of these highfalutin British water bottles.
Yeah.
And people were like, dude, it's so alpha for Bryce Harper to just pound some vodka as he came into the
vodka.
And people were like going back and forth. People were like, no, he doesn't drink. And they're like, look at that bottle. Never heard of it. That's a liquor bottle right there. And I just imagine, and partly it was because there was a trainer who was a team trainer who was in the dugout, and he was just kind of looking at Bryce like he was just kind of staring at him. And I think that it was kind of a bewildered look, and so people thought he was pounding vodka in the dugout. I think that you would probably be suspended if you were found drinking hard alcohol. Am I wrong?
I don't think you can do that during games.
I don't think so either. Plus, that's not really his vibe.
I'm pretty sure there's rules against that.
I'm pretty sure that he's not into that anyway. But either way.
Yeah, I know he isn't.
He could have deserved it, though, because he had himself a weekend. The Phillies split their series in London. And not only that, he had a home run, which, of course, if you're Bryce Harper, you have a home run in London, you do a soccer style. By the way, the guys calling the game, the British commentators, phenomenal. I thought they did a fantastic job. It made the baseball, I love baseball, but with a British accent, it sounded even better. So here's what it sounded like. Bryce Harper hitting a home run across the Atlantic Ocean.
2-2 pitch. That one started out in the middle of the plate, and Harper rips it deep to right field, and it is gone. Bryce Harper, the first home run across the pond for Philadelphia. And we're tied at 1. Exactly what you two got.
Oh, wow.
Let's go! Oh, beautiful celebration.
I didn't want to infer that he hit it across the Atlantic Ocean, right?
It might have felt like it.
But it did feel like that's the way I pitched
it.
He can hit it really far, and that's a cool thing. But, yeah, when one of the British announcers like, oh, he got him to hit into the double play. He hit into the double play. I was like, this is peak baseball right now. And in the one hand, you're kind of going, all right, are these guys going to screw up? They knew what they were talking about.
No, they called a double play to end the game like it was a game-winning soccer goal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fired up.
Absolutely. I got to hear what it sounds like.
On his shoulders, and Castellanos' bat explodes, and they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end. The shattered bat. The runner out at home plate, and the ball fired into the glove. And the first baseman, Pete Alonso, and the New York Mets somehow withstand the Phillies rally, and they win Game 2 in London 6-5. 17 hits. What drama, what a game, what a finish.
A double play off the exploded bat of Castellanos.
First time I've ever heard a home run call for a Castellanos home run that didn't follow up an apology or a eulogy.
Right. My favorite was like, Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso did not sign up for baseball to think he would ever have his name said by a British dude. Pete Alonso into the glove.
I'm surprised they knew how to pronounce Alonso.
No, it's good. No, these guys all have soccer. They all have to pronounce all the South American soccer guys.
Yes, they do.
So there's a lot of it is funny when they say it, though. Castellanos, instead of Castellanos, they'll be Castellanos with an absolute bullet. Yeah. No, it's good. Anytime you put a British accent on anybody calling a game, it gets much better.
I just don't understand why are we trying to play baseball in London. It's like trying to play cricket in Salt Lake City.
I wouldn't kick it out of bed. Come on.
You'd go watch.
Absolutely.
You'd pay $50 for a seat to watch cricket.
Yeah, because you get like a 4-day game for the price of one.
No, that's fair.
Come on. Florida Panthers, the Stanley Cup playoffs or the Stanley Cup final are underway, and it kind of went the way that we thought it was going to in Game 1. Sergei Bobrovsky, a shutout of a game. And by the way, at one point it was 23 shots that Edmonton had taken to the 5 that the Panthers had taken, and it was 2-0 Panthers. And I was like, there's something to be said about having one of the best goaltenders in the game, and that's exactly how the Panthers came out on top in this one.
Every win, it's a big win, and it's a long series, so we're gonna reset, refocus, and get ready for the next fight.
Gotta be careful when you say focus with a Russian accent.
Very, very careful. Very careful.
I just love it. 32 saves. I think when I was a kid, the save stat was like so huge. Dude, he had 51 saves, And now obviously it's a percentage more than it is anything. So,
Yep.
But yeah, what's Game 2 tonight?
It is
Game 2 tonight
yes.
in Florida, 6:00, and we're of course hockey fans now. So here we are, watching this thing go down. And Florida, I don't see this going anywhere except for this is the way the Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup playoffs go. The home team is almost always likely to win, but there's no home ice advantage really at all in hockey. It just is like, but when the games are, let's say that Florida sweeps these first 2 games at home, they'll go back to Edmonton. Edmonton will just as quickly win those 2 games.
Right.
This better go 7 games. It's got to go 7 games, because otherwise, all the people I've been pitching to them that NHL hockey's amazing, NHL playoff hockey's amazing, they'll think I'm a liar.
I'm a little worried though. It's going to be a lot like the NBA Finals, where the team with the best player isn't necessarily the best team.
Yeah.
Like Connor McDavid's the best player in hockey, but the Panthers have the most depth. They have the best defense. They got the best goaltender. Very similar to the NBA Finals, right? So that's my worry. Is it's just Bobrovsky is just an absolute wall, and it's going to be tough for the Oilers to score.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Game 2 tonight. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. Mitch Harper, our BYU insider for KSLSports.com, going to join us. We'll have a discussion about a recent media availability from Kevin Young, BYU's basketball coach. You just call him KY. If you're friends with him, you just call him KY. Yeah.
KYU.
That's what it is now.
You know who's a big fan of what they're doing down there?
Ryan Smith?
Stevenson Sylvester.
Oh,
is
Sly
a big fan of what they're doing at BYU.
Oh,
I actually love the promise of BYU basketball.
I know he does. That's a great cut.
Once a show. Has to happen once a show. That's the rule.
That's part of the
I didn't make the rules, Sly. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's part of the contract. That's absolutely right. We'll come back. We'll hear from Mitch, and we'll get the inside scoop on not just basketball, but also football. So much more to go. Stay with us. We're at the Bonneville Classic here at Bonneville Golf Club in Salt Lake City. Stay here, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.